Morning everyone. How is everyone today? The air comes on, so we have a very good environment here. Happy with that. Today is our second to last Sunday, everybody together here. So I want to thank again the children for staying here with us. Thank again everyone for welcoming the children here with us. Last week will be the last week of us all here together. And as I said on the first Sunday, you guys remember anything I said in the first Sunday we had together?
Treasure.
That was before that. That was a very good one. I'm glad you remember that one. There was a challenge for us to pay attention to the stories of the Bible so far. And in the end, there will be a challenge. So let me clarify what the challenge is. Next week, after the sermon, whoever can tell what we learned about God so far, and whoever can tell best what the stories we saw so far were about, will gain a prize.
What's the prize?
It's a good prize. You see on the day. It's a prize that you what? Don't worry.
What if it's just beans?
Just what?
What if it's just beans?
Do you want
Would you like beans? So why wouldn't we just beans?
Because you like.
I'll bring beans as well, just for this one, okay? But there will be something else besides beans. Today, however, I'd like to remind you what we have seen so far. What we're looking at so far. You guys remember? We're looking about this man called Abraham, and his walk with God. And his walk with God started with God appearing to him and calling him out and saying, "Come, and I will bless you. And I will bless you, and in you I will bless everyone else." And Abraham learned then, or at least we learned through the life of Abraham, that God is a God of blessing. And after that, Abraham walked with God. And they were waiting, and they were waiting, and they were waiting, until nothing happened. They were waiting for God to give them a child, because Abraham and Sarah, they need a child to keep living on and be a blessing to everyone. But it didn't happen. So Sarah said, "Okay, if God won't do it, I will do it." She took an Egyptian woman, brought to Abraham. She had a son. We called him Ishmael. And things went terribly wrong. She got envious. She got jealous. There's a fight. A young pregnant woman ran to the desert by herself because the life was so hard. And then God visited her. This strange woman, this Egyptian woman, this one who should be an enemy. God visited her, blessed her, was there for her, called her back. And we learn, not just from Abraham, who actually in this story was a terrible husband for both of them, but through Hagar, that our God, the God we come here to worship and serve every day, every Sunday at least, is a God who sees. She calls him, the first person in the Bible to give God a name is this Egyptian woman. She calls him El Roi. God is a God who sees. Not only looks, he sees us. Even in our darkest, deepest moments in life, he sees us. He cares enough to come to us, to give advice and to bless. And we keep walking with Abraham. Abraham was getting older, meeting with God more often, to the point that he could recognize who God is. When you walk with somebody so long that you recognize who he is? I don't know if you guys remember when I joined church, I was terrible with names. Who remember how many times I asked your names? I confess, I still sometimes completely mix up Janelle and Joel's name when I talk to them. But I know who Joel and who Janelle is very clear in my mind. It's just a mishap, okay? But now, after walking with the guys for a while, I know almost everybody's names in this room. Almost. Some people faces that still need to get quite God walked with Abraham. And Abraham walked with God so much that he could recognize God when God was walking down the street. And he found God, invited God in, and God came, sat down, had a little bit of fresh bread, a barbecue calf, some yogurt, very, very fine things. And we learned that our God is a God of fellowship. And God wants to spend time with us, to sit down with us, to enjoy fellowship with us. And we see this all the way through the Bible. But we also saw that Sarah didn't know God that well. So when God came for fellowship, instead of rejoicing, she was afraid. What will happen with God among us? What will we do? And God tell her, I will bless you, and you have a child. And she laughs like, ha, I am almost 9 years old, and I'm going to have a child now. As if. And God asked, did you laugh? And she was so afraid, she tried to lie to God. Can you imagine this a moment? You're so afraid that you try to lie to God. That's what she did. But God was not mad at her or angry at her. He simply said, I will do it. And you see, you don't know me, you don't know how powerful I am, how gracious I am, but I will show you who I am. Which brings us to this moment in time. You see, we have our good old friend Abraham with his long white hairs, and it's getting whiter and whiter and whiter because this man is now 100 years old. And it's awesome that today we're going to have a 100-year anniversary downstairs. So when you go downstairs, I want you to look at our brother and see Abraham was this old when God blessed him with his son. Okay? So pay attention when you go there, look at our brother, congratulate him, and look at him. Abraham was old like that. Between when God first came to Abraham to when God blessed him with a son when he was 100 years old, 25 years have passed. I would like you to stop for a minute. Do you know how long 25 years is? Most of you have not lived that long. And Abraham was walking in the desert with God, waiting for a moment when God would fulfill his word to him for 25 years. A quarter of his whole life, he was waiting for God to come and bless him. Sarah was so old that she had stopped going through the natural cycles that women go through. And that was the time when God visited her. And I love the text that you just read because it says, and God visited Sarah as he said he would. And God did to Sarah as he said he would. And Sarah had a child. Can you imagine how crazy it is for this old aged woman? And remember, okay, if you don't recall, Sarah is the one with the long hair without the long beard. Okay? Abraham, long white hair, long white beard. Sarah, long white hair, no beard. Okay? Very important. 9 years old woman. That's why when she has a child, say, God make laughter for me. Because if I walk around saying that I, a 9 years old woman, had a child, and I nursed a child, and I had a baby this old, people just laugh over me. This is absurd. This is ridiculous. This is beyond preposterous, to give you guys a word to learn and Google later on what it means. Walking with God. Okay? Sometimes we feel like that. God comes to us and we get to know Him a little bit better. And sometimes He has great things to work in our life. And we say, I will work great things in our life. And we stick around. And we wait. And we wait. And we wait. And sometimes you remember, well, God is doing great things in my life. But we see nothing out of it. We get anxious. Maybe you get even angry like Sarah did. Maybe you do like Sarah and say, I will do it myself. You know, if God's taking too long, it's been like 20 years already, I'm going to find a way to have a child without God. But no matter how long time passes for us, the God we serve is a God who remembers. He remembers the promises we made to Him. He remembers the promises He made to us. And no matter how long time may pass, He does not forget. Let me ask you something. Have you ever made a promise to someone and completely forgot about it? Like your mom come to you, can you please put the laundry away? And said, absolutely, no problem, I will do it. The day passes, she goes away, she comes back, and the mountain is exactly there when he promised it would not be. Have you ever had somebody promise it to you? And especially for you guys who are parents, have you ever promised your children something like, oh, I will do this with you? And then you completely forgot about it, and your child didn't. So the child came the other day and said, oh, what about this? We started to go, I don't know, go to the park today. Oh yeah, I did say it, right? Have you ever had your parents promise something to you and they completely forgot for whatever reason? Yeah, we all do here. This is an amazing thing between the God we serve. We learn later on that He presents us as Father. And He is a Father who remembers. The promise God made us, He will never forget. Now, there's a twist in the story. But before that, I'd like to invite you guys to stand up. Let's sing a song.